Hi friends, Prepared Suburbanite here. A couple of quick updates from around here. My wife ended up having to have some reconstructive surgery on an ankle that she broke a while ago. Went in, had the surgery. It's a little bit more extensive than what we had originally thought and what the doctor had originally told us, because he had to do some tendon work and some of this and drilling bones and all kinds of icky stuff. But it went fine. Everything's great. She's been discharged from the hospital. She's got to be non-weight bearing on that leg for at least 6 weeks. So hopefully we've just got 5 to go because it's been a week. And we got all the stuff that we need. We got the walkers and we got the knee scooter and all that kind of stuff, crutches, you name it. And I get to play nurse. Oh, that's really kind of cool. But that's not why I'm here. The other quick update is we do not yet have a closing date confirmed on our bug out location property. We'll see. We got some time. Obviously, my wife can't drive up there to meet with the attorneys and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll get another couple, 3 or 4 weeks of time in between now and when we do close on the property. But that's all pointed in the right direction. Her surgery's pointed and the recovery's pointed in the right direction. So we're happy about that. But I wanted to go over some of the environmental things, I think, that are really the major drivers for us being prepared for whatever's coming, and there's a lot of stuff coming. So stick around right after the intro. We'll get into some detail. So first up on those considerations and the drivers for becoming prepared, if you're not already prepared, or sticking with it if you have started prepping, if you've been prepping for a long time. Some of us don't need a whole lot to keep us motivated and keep us pointed in the right direction to be prepared for pretty much anything. But the first thing that pops up is we're right in the midst of the 2020 national presidential election, and there are some scary things going on right now. And I'm talking scary. The loss of liberty, the loss of freedom, the challenges to the Constitution, the Second Amendment issues, the Fourth Amendment issues. I am very concerned about the direction that this election wants to take us. So there's one good reason all in of itself to be super prepared. The second reason is what just happened this week in the stock market. We hit an inversion, and it's kind of like a blue moon thing. It only happens very rarely that the short-term bond rates are yield higher than the long-term bond rates yield. And that has been historically a very accurate predictor of an upcoming recession. Now, recessions, yeah, we go through those. The last one was pretty rough. The 2008, back I think in 2000 or thereabouts, there was one previous to that, and the stock market goes crazy. Consumer spending shrinks. The government gets involved, and they do lots of weird stuff. They funnel money into the economy, and I don't know if that makes it any better or if it actually makes it worse. But that's what this predictor with the inverted yields and the bonds, that's what it's calling for. Now, is it going to happen this week or next week or whatever? I don't think anybody really knows. In fact, the head of the Bank of America said that he really wasn't concerned about a recession coming. But that doesn't mean a recession isn't coming. That's an economic factor. have you really taken a look at where you are financially? Taking a look at your debt, taking a look at what kind of available funds that you have available to you immediately. And I'm not talking about the bank. I'm not talking about in the stock market. I'm talking about stuff that you may have right in your homestead that you can put your hands on, that you can use to survive if it really, really does get nasty out there as far as the economics go. When the United States is vulnerable and it's in the stage of recession or even depression, we become vulnerable. The country becomes vulnerable. People aren't sure where to turn to look for the right kind of guidance to make sure that we're on the right track, because you got some people saying one thing and other people saying other things. It really does kind of get confusing, and it makes us vulnerable not only to economic conditions elsewhere in the world, but it can make us vulnerable to any kind of economic attack. Now, by an economic attack, we could be talking about cyber type issues where they tap into banks and steal data and use that data to make us to make themselves rich and steal our money, basically. It could come in the form of any kind of economic blackmail, trade wars that we're sort of experiencing right now. But that's the number three kind of a thing, is once we deal with what's going on and being prepared for an upcoming potential recession, and that means you've really got to take a look at your stock portfolio if you've got it, and if you don't, make sure that you've got enough available cash, and take a look at your debt, and that you've got enough stuff that you can use to barter if the economy tanks. As we move into the third kind of consideration that's really hopping right now, is the trade war. The United States and China basically are just duking it out. I believe, and we'll see if I'm right, but I believe that Trump has a strategy and he's employing the proper tactics right now to get China back on track to become a fair business trading partner with the United States. Wasn't too awful long ago, and I can remember coming to that realization a few years ago, but Japan used to be the place. If it was made in Japan, it was poor quality, but that was the only place that you could get it. And all of a sudden, that Japan switched out of that mode, and China picked up the baton, and they started making everything. And when was the last time you bought something? Doesn't matter where you go, Amazon, Walmart, wherever, it or components of it, whatever merchandise it is that you're buying, is made overseas, and it comes through China. And they have not been playing fair with us. So being tough, taking it on the chin a little bit right now, sacrificing what we've got to sacrifice as the people of a free country looking for a right deal. I think Trump's on the right track. He's got the right strategy. It's taken a lot longer than I would have wanted it to take, but the naysayers are saying he's mucking everything all up. He's really making a mess out of everything, and that's because they want immediate results. I mean, like, he can just pick up the phone and call the premier in China and say, okay, that's it, here's the deal, and okay, and everybody shakes hands, and there you go. That's not how it's going to work. And we're not going to give up a favorable position. Trade wars can get nasty, and it's getting nasty right now. Stuff that's going on in Korea, the stuff that's going on in Hong Kong, that's all weighing into the worldwide picture that's going on between the United States and China. It's nasty. But let me tell you what you've got to do to be prepared for that kind of trade war stuff. You got to stockpile your survival goods. You've got to have enough food. You've got to have enough water. You've got to make sure that you've got alternative forms of energy so that you can cook, so that you can clean. You've got to stay, you got to keep yourself clean. You got to keep your homestead clean. You've got to be ready. If that trade war really takes off and we're not able to get our hands on the goods that we normally see in the supermarkets, that we normally see at the local Walmart store, they're just not going to be there anymore, or they're going to be so darn expensive that you're not going to be able to afford to buy them. Then things are going to get scary. So be prepared now. Take a look at where you think you may have gaps and holes in your inventories for food, for energy. Learn the skills and the trades that are necessary, that you can become even more self-sufficient than you may already be right now. Learn how to plant gardens, learn how to put up food and can and do all that kind of stuff so that you have an edge when this S hits the fan. As I've said in the past, being prepared is really like an insurance policy. And the prepper community has been vilified for a long, long time. I guess, and it even before the National Geographic specials on the Doomsday Prepper, that whole series that came out that made us look like a bunch of idiots. The community that you're in, if you're a prepper, is probably one of the most helpful, forgiving, outreaching, knowledgeable group of people that you're ever going to run across. If you find somebody that you know that's into being prepared, get to know him. Learn from him. Learn from them. Get yourself involved in a group that has those kinds of tendencies to want to become self-sufficient, that want to be prepared for pretty much anything. And it could be, the loss of a job all the way right up to a meteor striking the earth kind of a thing. But you want to be prepared. You want to make sure that you and your family are going to make it through at least the first couple of months of whatever disaster is going to befall us. And if you're really concerned about the severity of whatever S is going to hit that fan, you may want to make your plan bigger than just a couple of months and go for 6 months, go for a year. I know that every week that goes by, I stockpile just a little bit more. We add to our food stores. We rotate our inventories. We take inventory, which is another important aspect. You got to really know what you got. I looked the other day for the plastic freezer bags, the Ziploc bags or the Glad bags, whatever, and I couldn't find any. I wasn't quite sure where they may have gotten to. So the last time I was at the warehouse place, I picked up a couple of boxes of quart size and a couple of boxes of gallon size, brought them home, and my wife said, "What'd you buy those for?" Geez, look at over there. There's 2 boxes of the gallon size and 4 boxes of the quart size. Oh, well, it's because I hadn't done that inventory in quite a while. But now I've got even more than that I could possibly use, and we're sharing it with our kids so that they've got the little Ziploc bags that they're going to need to help put up food, keep things safe, keep things organized. That's the kind of stuff that I want to urge everybody that's into prepping, that wants to be prepared, to really, really think about all that kind of activity and how you structure your life around that. invest a little bit every single week into your food and water storage. Invest a little bit of time and effort in yourself to learn the skills that you're going to need when the power goes out, when this happens or that happens. Those kind of skills are going to be invaluable to you and your family, because you want to make sure that your family is safe and secure. This is the Prepared Suburbanite, reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see you all on the next video.